This is the Punisher, one of like 8 Punisher comics I have, and I think the first that I have ever reviewed. This is a great cover by Junior. I really like it, but I didn't really like the Punisher. But I like this issue because it has a sexy woman in it who tries to seduce the Punisher. This video goes out to Bufka Hustletine, long-time viewer and commenter, and surely a subscriber. He likes this story. There was a crossover with Daredevil and No Man, and this is part of that. It is written by Chuck Dixon, and while I didn't much care for the Punisher, or at least the Punisher as a solo star, Chuck Dixon, he wrote the Punisher stuff that I was less apprehensive towards. He usually had a good grasp on how to do the Punisher and not have it just be done in one repetitive shite or some ripped from the headlines style bullshit. The stuff like that is one of my main reasons for not caring for the Punisher as a leading character. The amount of stories that are just like, let's send the Punisher to Australia, or let's send the Punisher to Venezuela, or let's have the Punisher take on cockfighting, or let's send the Punisher to outer space. I hate that. The very samey stuff where it is just Punisher, he goes somewhere, and this time he kills a bad person or bad people in that locale. And that is like the whole story. This one, I suppose this one is kind of like, let's send the Punisher to Vegas. But there is thankfully a bit more meat on its bones than those other stories that I didn't like. You see, not only does this one include the wider Marvel universe, which I am all for, but it also has a sexy woman, Madam Hydra. She is like one of the most beautifulest women in the Marvel comics. In this, she seduces and manipulates the Punisher. Put Madam Hydra into a comic, and I am usually sold on it. And I quite like her characterisation here. Her motives, they're kind of obvious. She wants Punisher to take out all her competition, but at the same time, I think it speaks to another part of her character, which Marky Mark was concurrently clearly establishing our own Captain America, which was that she was a pure anarchist. Her goals, she just wanted to watch the world burn and spread chaos. Marky Mark, he does this great stuff with her and Red Skull Man and how they differ. Red Skull Man, he wants to do evil attacks of evil, whereas Madam Hydra, she just wants to blow shit up. And here, her wanting Punisher to take out the heads of all the rival operations, that feels to me like she would more appreciate all the havoc and disorder that would cause. Punisher, he isn't the brightest bulb in the box or the sharpest LED in the lamp. You would hope that the Punisher, he would see through this, and in all fairness, he probably does, but I think he just agrees that it is a great opportunity to take out a lot of criminals, a lot of major criminals. Then we have this guy. This was a supporting character in Chuck Dixon's run. There was this guy, he was like a down on his luck, low-level mob man who the Punisher bullied into being his informant. Really fun character, actually. That was one of the things I liked about Chuck Dixon's on the Punisher. He kind of realised that the book, it really needed some consistency or some element of ongoing character or story, since Punisher, he isn't really a character who ever can grow or ever should grow. So Chuck Dixon's, he introduced like a very small supporting cast that was more than just Michael Chip. This guy, he was also in one of the Punisher films, the good one. He was in that. The scene where the Punisher has him chained up and the ice lolly, that scene that people say is out of character and not the Punisher because it's a bit silly. Well, that is actually straight from Chuck Dixon's run, so maybe get off your stupid Gareth Ellis eye horse. Our premise for this crossover is that all the big criminal gangs, they are meeting up in Vegas to try and work out territory and stuff like that. So like I said, Madam Hydra, she thinks to wipe them all out and seize control for herself, or maybe just shake things up. Punisher, he gets spotted and we have a shootout. I really didn't get the appeal of the Punisher as a star. I really didn't. Stuff like this is just meaningless action. Whenever Punisher has a gunfight like this, you know that he's gunning to survive. Like, at least with other heroes, you think they might stand to lose a fight. But with the Punisher, it usually gets... he's always in one-sided fights where he wins because the stakes are life or death. Not all Punisher stories are like that. There are ones where he's been, like, actually injured or hurt. But I do find action in the Punisher books to be mostly unexciting. There is only so many times you can watch the Punisher mindlessly shoot nobodies. And there is very, very rarely any emotional weight to the action. I'm not one to generalise a whole fan base. That is a lie, of course I am. But I do think that the Punisher, he appeals to a very, let's say, specific demographic. The sort of people who like seeing the guns, and like seeing the guns be fired, and like seeing people get shot by the guns, and stuff like that, above any character or story. I will tell you a good Punisher book that I didn't own a single issue of. Punisher 2019. There is a funny thing with that book. The whole thing, it is actually a joke. It is a parody. It is written as a parody, and people, they didn't cotton on. They thought that it was serious and sincere, even though it is well past the point of ridiculousness with all the dialogue and the writing. Like the bit that everyone remembers is this bit where the Punisher of the year 2019, someone asks him his age, and he goes, 36 caliber. It is honestly quite funny, and even funnier since people took it seriously. We have scenes here which is setting up parts of the crossover with various criminal bad guys and mob bosses and evil terrorist groups. We also have some really lame arse biker people with chainsaws. They are mainly there to give no man something to fight. Because you see, the chainsaw bikers, they kidnapped Bucky Man Baby. Bucky Man Baby is adorable. She is the best comic book character introduced in 1991. And yes, that does include Dead Pills and Dominoes. But here is our winning scene. Punisher, he goes back to his motel, and bam, bam, bam. Are you trying to seduce me, Mr. Robertson? Yes, I am now. Those bams, they were like an erect cock hitting a desk. It wasn't gunshots. Madam Hydra, though. Madam Hydra is easily one of the sexiest Marvel ladies. She is brilliant. If I came home one day and she was lying on my bed like that, oh, the things I would consensually do to her. And I didn't even like sex. And then she would probably kill us like that lass in GoldenEye when she breaks his neck with her legs when she has an orgasm. Bonus fun fact time, that was the first time they showed a woman having an orgasm in a James Bond film. I always like to educate you like that. And I think that it is Madam Hydra who elevates this issue for me. I'm not keen on the Punisher. I think this crossover is rather dismal. Due in part to the Dairy Devil chapters being terrible. But Madam Hydra seducing Punisher, that is about the right thing to inject into the Punisher books to get me on board. It would be awful if someone came along and retconned her appearances in this series as being some sort of defective clone. That would be absolutely awful. If you cannot read between the lines, that is exactly what happens. Bloody defective clones. Why are there always these defective clones walking around the Marvel Universe and getting involved in certain stories that seem to shine a light on an aspect of the character that is fresh or different? Madam Hydra shagging the Punisher, that is interesting. Why not build on that? Or try to establish why she seems to think that the Punisher is a kindred spirit or whatever, rather than just saying that it doesn't count. Just on the fly now, I can come up with a reason and say she likes the Punisher because she is a nihilist, and Punisher, his objective and outlook, is also nihilist. Boom, there you go. Give me a job as a comic book editor. There will be no defective clones from me. Although actually, one of my fixes for Summit it is a defective clone. The Norman Osborn and Emma Stone's, their illegitimate children, I would just say that they were defective clones left over from the clone Sadger, which were made from the two's DNA. They never shagged, Emma Stone's never cheated on Spider-Man with Norman Osborn, and them kids, they are just defective clones. But that is the only defective clone I would introduce. You know what? I'd even gone back and retcon some of the defective clone retcons and just gone, actually no, that was me. I was just lying about having a defective clone who got beaten up by 4. This comic though, 7 thumbs up. Away man, it's got Madam Hydra being seductive on a bed. 7 thumbs up.